A few years ago, I struggled a lot speaking English confidently, but today it has opened the doors that I never imagined in my life. As the majority of the people knows that English is an international language, global language, or the common language of the world, but I will be disclosing how practically it is being used as the common language of the world and how is it affecting our lives. Hello everyone, this is Farhad, the founder and CEO of Farhad English Hub. Learning English is not an option, but it is one of the basic necessities that let us survive better. First of all, English is the language of business. How is it so? Let's get to know. If an individual does a business on the global level, how is he going to communicate with the other countries' people? Let's take an example. If a company in Pakistan is running by the collaboration of a Chinese company, this Pakistani company is importing the products of that Chinese company and selling it out here in Pakistan, and they want to have some deal by which they would decide the percentage of their profit. Right here, how are they going to have better deal unless they have effective communication, unless they can make each other understand? Right here we have got an option of a translator, but see, translators can do what a person himself can do. I hope you would be agreeing with me at this point. So Chinese companies people, they speak Chinese language, and Pakistani companies people, of course, they speak Urdu language as our national language, right? So how can they communicate with each other effectively unless they know English? Right here, the mindful thing is that English is working as the common language among these Chinese and Pakistani people. Hence, at this point, English is going to be their basic necessity that will keep their business running. Otherwise, no option. Additionally, there are thousands of other examples that can be taken under the consideration, such as Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Alibaba, and so on and so forth. Secondly, English as the language of education and research. Well, around the world, 80% of the educational institutions are giving higher education to their students in English language. And 80% of the research materials around the world is available in English language. So the mindful thing right here, whether we want to be good in our education or research, we are going to be needed of English language. Unless we have better command on English language, we can never be good either of them. Here we can take an example of our Pakistani institutions that are giving their education in English language, and most of the students, they get stuck in English because see, like, unless you are getting core idea of that topic, so will you be able to make your concepts? Never. Okay, that's how, like, we have got a huge cram system in our country, or majority of the students, they cram the topic and write in their exam. Sometimes these students get really high grades from their exams, but when they get in their practical life, they get stuck and they can't perform well in their practical field. So at this point, they always regret of not making their concepts of their own field. So English language is the biggest barrier among Pakistani students to have good grip in the field of their studies. Thirdly, English and the digital world. Over 60% of the websites on our internet and the social media content are in English. Most freelancing and remote work opportunities require English skills. Unless you know English, you can't communicate with your client. Unless you would be able to communicate, how can you get some task from them? And unless you would get task from them, how can you get paid by them? So even for selling your own skill, you need good skills of English language. Fourthly, English in media and entertainment. Most of the effective social media content is existing in English language. You can talk about movies, series, dramas, news channels, sports commentaries, cartoons, and so on and so forth. Fifthly, English as a language of interviews. Around the world, 60 to 70% interviews are being held in English language. Why is it happening so? All the interviewers feel comfortable to conduct the interviews in English because they take English language as a symbol of mutual understandings. Here we can consider job interviews, embassy interviews, or university credibility interviews. In 95% of the cases, these are being held in English. Lastly, English as a language of international traveling. We can see a lot of people, they move from one country to another for the sake of jobs, businesses, tours, or studies. So, to survive in their respective country, they're going to be needed of English language skills. For example, a Pakistani student moved to any of the European countries, including Italy, Germany, Belgium, Austria, Switzerland, or any of the countries. To survive better in his respective host country, he is going to be needed of English language. Later on, while living in that country, possibly he would learn the language of that place, but it's not easy. It takes a really long time, as we can learn English within somehow a short time, because the reason is that we have been taught English alphabets or all the basic words since our childhood. That's how we feel little easy to learn this language. But when you would think of learning Italian, French, Spanish, German, or any other language, so it is somehow a nightmare, believe me. With these 6 points, our today's video has got to an end. I believe you must have liked the way I explored the importance of English, how it is working as a common language of the world. If you want to watch such more videos, you may subscribe my channel and other social media platforms, and you can share with your friends.